Bun găsit la emisiunea Știință și Cunoaștere! După o întreagă aventură de încercări nereușite care au durat aproape 2 ani, am finalizat primul interviu care va deschide o întreagă colaborare pe termen lung cu un profesor de neurologie de origine rusă, dar care trăiește în Texas, Statele Unite, de peste 20 de ani. Numele său este Gjumrakch Aliev și este profesor universitar, cercetător științific și medic neurolog la clinica înființată de el, care este totodată și institut de cercetare dotat cu laboratoare moderne. Mai precis, profesorul Aliev este președinte al Institutului Biomedical Internațional GALI din San Antonio, Texas, Statele Unite. Într-o anumită perioadă de timp a ocupat și câteva poziții importante în cadrul Universității din Atlanta, Georgia, în calitate de profesor în domeniile patologiilor cardiovasculare și neurologice, în gerontologie, științele pentru sănătate și administrația serviciilor de sănătate. Profesorul Aliev a fost șef de echipă în cadrul Institutului de Compuși Fiziologic Activi al Academiei Ruse de Științe din Moscova, Federația Rusă. Diploma de MD a primit-o cum laude în anul 1982 la Universitatea de Medicină din Baku, fosta URSS, apoi a urmat studii doctorale în domeniul bolilor cardiovasculare la Institutul de Morfologie Umană al Academiei Ruse de Științe Medicale din Moscova în anul 1988, absolvind tot cum laude. Stagiul postdoctoral l-a făcut alături de renumitul cercetător, profesorul Geoffrey Burnstock, de la Colegiul Universității din Londra și profesorii Marco Prosdocimi și Eugenio Ragazzi de la Universitatea Padova, Italia. Gjumrakch Aliev este autor și coautor al peste 500 de publicații, din care peste 300 sunt rezumatul unor prezentări publice în domeniul cercetării bolilor neurodegenerative, în special Alzheimer, precum și al bolilor cardio- și cerebro-vasculare, al cancerului și al microscopiei electronice. Aliev este cunoscut ca profesor și cercetător în domeniul fiziologiei moleculare și celulare, al patologiilor cardiovasculare și neurodegenerative mediate, inclusiv al maladiei Alzheimer. Numele său apare la ultimele căutări în publicații naționale și internaționale de renume referitoare la bolile umane, precum și realizări din domeniul biochimiei și al biologiei moleculare, care au contribuit semnificativ la proiectarea diverselor medicamente destinate bolilor neurologice ale sistemului nervos central, Alzheimer, cancer, patologii cerebrovasculare și patologii neurodegenerative. Gjumrakch Aliev se află printre experții recunoscuți în microscopie electronică pentru contribuțiile aduse la dezvoltarea tehnicilor de vizualizare a ADN-ului mitocondrial. Inițial a dezvoltat împreună cu colegii săi tehnici de vizualizare a ADN-ului mitocondrial cu ajutorul microscopiei electronice pentru a determina modificările care se produc la nivel mitocondrial înainte de manifestarea unor schimbări structurale și sau leziuni vizibile sau depistabile care au loc la nivelul diverselor compartimente celulare în sistemul nervos central, în cel cardiovascular, precum și în timpul creșterii tumorilor și al metastazei. Aceste tehnici de vizualizare pot fi utilizate nu numai pentru diagnostic, ci și ca predicție în dezvoltarea bolii și a eficacității tratamentului. Articolele profesorului Aliev sunt publicate în reviste prestigioase, precum Revista de Cardiologie Clinică, Revista de Medicină din New England, Revista de Neuroștiinţă, revista numită Rapoarte Știinţifice, Revista Circulaţiei Sanguine, Revista Sângele, Revista de Medicină Moleculară și Celulară, Revista de Ateroscleroză, Revista de Sindroame Neurologice și Medicamente Personalizate, Revista Internațională de Biochimie și Biologie Celulară și multe altele, care reflectă aria preocupărilor sale. Gjumrakch Aliev este redactor șef al secțiunii Central Nervous System Agents, agenți ai sistemului nervos central medicinal din Medicinal Chemistry, din Revista de Chimie Medicală și din Revista de Biologie Celulară Aplicată, Revista online de psihiatrie, Revista Științei Îmbătrînirii, secțiunea Agenți cardiovasculari și hematologici, Medicinal Chemistry din Revista de Chimie Medicală, Imunologia și Agenții Endocrini și Metabolici din Revista de Chimie Medicală, ceea ce confirmă efortul imens pe care l-a depus în domeniul biologiei celulare și moleculare, precum și al științelor clinice asociate. Gjumrakch Aliev se află printre autorii cei mai bine citați în domeniile de cercetare amintite. I had read your paper, and at page 34, section Magnification of Optic Nerve and the Role of Melanin, it was not only the constant presence of melanin that intrigued us, because we also perceived that adjacent tissues seems to respond to its presence. But in what manner?
Based on what we did, what we are doing, melanin present in every cell, tissue and organ. Is that our knowledge and paths. Our knowledge is at this moment very limited, and for this reason almost human body function explanation has to be adjusted based on our new discovery. Lack of technical ability as well as two-dimensional picture, even in three-dimensional picture is now it is widely available, not always able to giving us is what's melanin, to doing inside of cells. Cell system is active and never going down, and therefore, even we are making statements such as you mentioned, we have to be very careful. Let me just mention, we are now is paper just in our hand is going to be sent for publication shortly. We found that is melanin regulate cerebrospinal fluid formation, and therefore necessitate water molecule that's for neuron to get dissociated and produce energy. So therefore we hope future research has to be done to get more detailed information about this topic.
Is it possible to get some extra details regarding the presence of melanin in the back of the eye?
In our understanding and our knowledge, melanin is constant pigment in eye and all of light absorption and dissection of water into the hydrogen and oxygen that occur constantly. Contrary to chlorophyll, where a reaction are non-reversible, so it's just one way. But in the case of melanin, water dissociation reaction is reversible and has negative feedback to keep enough amount of water as a source of energy to continue lifespan of the cells, tissue, organ, and body in general. So under the circumstance is that melanin as a negative feedback mechanisms keep, to normal physiological function during lifespan of human as well as, the animal kingdom.
On page 37, section Results and Discussions, melanin contains structures with no unusual characteristic of any enzyme. What kind of structures you refer to?
Currently, cell biology is based on glucose as a main source of energy. This is main puzzle, this is main misinterpretation and misunderstanding and misleading. Cellular bioenergetic pathways have become unnecessarily complex in the argument to explain how cells able to generate and use the energy from the oxidation of glucose, where mitochondria play an important role through oxidative phosphorylation. During the descriptive study about the 3 leading cases of blindness in the world, ability of melanin to transform light energy into chemical energy through the dissociation of water molecule was unrevealed. Initially, during the 2 or 3 years, we tried to link together our finding the widely accepted metabolic pathway already described in metabolic pathway database. which have been developed to collect and organize the current knowledge on metabolism scattered across a multitude of scientific articles. However, firstly, literature on metabolism is extensive, but rarely conclusive evidence is available. And secondly, one would expect this database to contain largely the same information, but the contrary is true. For the apparently well-studied metabolic process or Krebs cycle, which was described as early as 1937, and it is found in nearly every biology and chemistry curriculum, whereas considerable disagreement between at least 5 databases. Of a nearly 7,000 reactions contained jointly by these 5 databases, only 190 are described in the same way in all the 5 databases. Was to try to integrate chemical energy from melanin is actually under the melanin, which is supposed to be well-known bioenergetic pathway, is easier said than done, and the lack of consensus about metabolic network constitutes an insurmountable barrier. After years of unsuccessful war, we found that is, Krebs cycle was described as early, has nothing to do with this current situation. And therefore, we finally realized that chemical energy released through the dissociation of water molecules by melanin represent over 90% of all cells that's required for energy. This finding reveals a new aspect of cell biology, as glucose and ATP have biological function related mainly to biomass and not so much with energy. Our finding also about the unexpected interesting property of melanin to transform photon energy into chemical energy through the dissociation of water molecule, a role performed supposed only by chlorophyll in plant, seriously questioned that sarcosine, role of glucose and variable mitochondria as a primary source of energy and power of the cells.
Page 39, paragraph 2, about mitochondria. Glucose is only the source of biomass, but no power. So, which is the conceptual difference between biomass and energy in this context?
As I mentioned, it is human photosynthesis study just started, a few years, extensively by our groups, collaboration with Dr. Arturo Solis in Aguas Calientes, Mexico. We believe, I think, this issue is still very complicated and require more detail. It is the best interest as a clinical standpoint, as a research standpoint, implication of human photosynthesis of human disease that's capable to bring some, to shine or light in this, incurable disease condition that we are facing today.
From this perspective, do you believe it's still true that mitochondria still play an important role through oxidative phosphorylation or not?
Yes, mitochondria, as I mentioned, is a machine, but not source of energy. Is therefore, maybe we are using different body language, different scientists, different field, biochemistry or cell biology, molecular biology, but mitochondria only as a machine. In addition, ATP dissociation is required energy. Just one clinical example. If we agree with the current theory regarding the role of ATP or adenosine triphosphate as a source of energy, we are getting the following question, reason, to prohibiting prescription of ATP for infarct patients, acute infarct patients, where cardiac tissue desperately need energy to recover. In reality, ATP dissociation requires energy, and energy from during the synthesis, but not dissociation of ATP, appear to be energy source, water, and the melanin dissociation. So melanin appear to be as a driving horse in this situation. This topic already described by us in the paper as, to mention in the late paper and some free paper coming out shortly.
Officially, it is said that melanin is only present on the skin and optic nerve, but not inside the cells of the other organs and tissues. Is that true?
No, that's true. As I mentioned, a large amount of melanin present in optic nerves and skin because we are taken into much more attention. In our case, we use an example for our ongoing study. Just take into account the effect of melanin precursor, or called commercial name, CAP1, in the arsenic toxicity, has effect mainly on the renal function, as well as Alzheimer, multiple sclerosis, patients with, pain, patients with disc problem, so liver problem, is all of human disease. And therefore is, especially I wish to bring to your attention women and men infertility, hepatitis virus, and metabolic condition, including diabetes and many others.
But then how could it transfer the splitted oxygen and hydrogen protons into the deeper cells to supply their needs for energy?
The question is that, water molecules in reality, dissociation, occur inside of cells. And moreover, melanin present inside of cells. And both processes occur inside of cells. So this is, I think, is mechanistic that some energy synthesizing outside is bringing inside. No, everything's occur locally.
I quote from your paper, "We finally realized that the chemical energy released through the dissociations of water molecule by melanin represents over 90% of cell energy requirements. Please tell us why 90% and how did you measure this amount?"
Based on the energy necessity for normal cell function, is main reason how we calculate it. However, our latest study indicates that energy source for any type of cells, tissue, organ deriving from water dissociation under the catalytic activity of melanin. In my personal judgment, especially, I don't see any other source of energy for energy. Problem is related to our judgment and misunderstanding in general how cells function occur, and always we are trying to find some of magic, which does not exist in the mother nature. Therefore, if we take into account that, it's a very important point, I'm confident that drug company or pharmaceutical industry will benefit from the strategy developing more realistic and effective medication. Just take into account regarding one of our recent paper. Even pharmacological company, as well as drug developer, agree that missing links in the drug development for Alzheimer's disease, in our case, topic that we're discussing today, appear to be not taken into account potential multi-target strategy. I'm confident that this strategy now become one of the hottest areas in the drug development as well as clinical trials, not only for neurodegeneration, but almost all of human disease, including cancer, diabetes, atherosclerosis, and all others.
Where are the remaining 10% of the energy needs coming from?
As I mentioned to you, whole energy coming from water dissociation, because water exists all of cellular and subcellular compartment. No any other potential mechanism exists, at least in my judgment, and based on our many years ongoing research, and as well as clinical observation.
What is the proton pump of the mitochondria and where the protons and electrons are coming from? I never really understood who provided the reactive oxygen and hydrogen inside the mitochondria.
As I mentioned in my response to previous question, water exists in every point, and dissociation also occurs when energy needed. However, many still unanswered questions still remain and require more time to understand and get inside more detailed information. I hope this will become shortly, maybe during next years.
Let's go back now to the melanin properties. Is it true that melanin is to the animal kingdom like chlorophyll to the vegetal kingdom?
Yes, I agree completely with the statement that key function of animal and in human body. In addition, implication of a melanin precursor in different disease condition indicate that this only way to be forward, because we cannot give melanin as a treatment option, because melanin is already exist in our body, number one. Number two, melanin cannot cross blood-brain barrier. Number three, why we need to have extra melanin when we have enough? So therefore, we need to stimulate. So for this reason, we are using a name called CAPI, which is, to precursor for melanin. Therefore, drug company, as well as pharmaceutical company, if going to take into account this key point, I'm confident that even many already clinically used drugs can be very selective in dose as a frequency point and effective successful treatment action. Moreover, this also will be able to reduce key negative side effects of many drugs, especially anti-cancer medication as well as CNS drugs. Just want to add one more fact. Is already published and widely available. 95% of CNS drugs that's for treatment of central nervous system disease, they are toxic or has nothing to do with disease. So therefore, you can imagine is avenue which is required special attention for research as well as drug development.
Only profit for the big pharma.
Yes, I agree. But problem is that, is goal to trying to finding, magic drug. Which never happened. It never going to happen. Just take into account Alzheimer field, cardiovascular disease. Let's go back another example. Cardiovascular disease field. Everybody need to lower cholesterol. Who said person or in 20 years aged and person 60 years age supposed to have same level of cholesterol when cholesterol absorption by age is become as a difficult. Therefore, lowering cholesterol only affect the people who has problem with cholesterol metabolism. Moreover, widely available drug like Lipitor, any other, they induce, to failure in liver cancer or liver function, and in case of many cases induce liver cancer. In addition, another fact, brain 90% consists from fat-related, component. How you can reduce but always need to be, balanced. How much we need, but necessity for each patient, each case, is different. Therefore, we are again coming back to personalized attention for each patient, as well as drug doses or frequency for each patient.
Please let us both open your paper again, entitled Beyond Mitochondria, What Would Be the Energy Source of the Cell, at page 7 of the PDF file. And there is a chemical equation. H2O is splitting into H, hydrogen and oxygen. But from the industrial chemistry, we know that this reaction would require huge temperature in order to split the water molecule. But according to your discovery, melanin do this at the body temperature. Please explain how could that be possible?
Unfortunately, at presently, our understanding has many limitations. However, because we still don't know how in 37 Celsius temperature in human body, water dissociation occurs under the catalytic activity of melanin. This question requires more research effort to get insight of his very interesting, I'll say, key point that's necessary for better understanding biochemistry as well as, to clinical and the drug development strategy.
I am absolutely amazed. And this is the most important idea that we ever presented on television until now. So we humans can actually live in the environment powering our bodies mostly by using the sunlight, the oxygen, and only on the third level the solid food, which probably we eat it due to a more physiological, psychological need than a biological one.
Dear Christian, let me make some of correction regarding your statement and question. Food which we are receiving using only material for building of a cells, tissue, and as well as organ. Well, let's say different level. In addition, under the sunlight activity of melanin is accelerated. For example, during the summer, our skin gets much darker when but compared to winter period. If we take classic theory regarding energy source, we have to eat at least per day 180 kilogram food per day. And again, I'm repeating, 180 kilogram food per day per person. First and foremost, we do not have such a source of food in the entire world. In addition, we cannot take such an amount of food. As you know, human stomach able to take no more than 3 liters of food or liquid. So therefore, any circumstance that's classic way of understanding energy formation does not feed, realistic standpoint, what's going on in human body or animal kingdom.
Dear Professor Aliev, I had lived a personal experience which is still unclear after 12 years since it had been produced, and I require your help and guidance to review it in the light of your new discovery. I had a long-term lumbar degenerative discopathy, and now I am completely healed. In my last possible chance, I did something, a kind of biological transformation, and I had published my story on this paper on the internet, and which I hope you read it. And that something, that biological transformation, created first a physiological mechanism, but this is somehow associated with the increase of the vital feeling of the body and significantly decreased the food and sleep needs.
Dear Christian, I agree completely with your statement and your history, which I read with very great interest. An issue is that necessary regarding food intake. It appears to be one of the main challenges for modern, I'll say, Western style of society. especially dyskinesia, absence of life activity using modern technology, has already have negative effects not only by our daily life, but also our health. But everything has limitation, and artificial activation or suppression. Normal physiology appear to be primary factor that causing for accelerating aging. Life support organ, highly differentiated cell, such as brain, heart, or any other tissue, are specifically very sensitive. Let me bring to your attention some of obvious evidence. It has been developed mice, for example, with called P450 gene deficiency. These animals never get cancer. You inject cancer cells by a syringe. These animals never get developed cancer. However, these animals die from, let's say, the usual or simple infection. Therefore, disturbance in the body homeostasis by artificial, especially external factor, very often appear to be primary reason for disease development. Finally, another example can be almost now widely accepted that to use Botox for rejuvenation process, you are going to look very young. You're 60 years old, you're going to look like 25 years old person. Nobody wants to take into account that these people who used and using extensively Botox injection, they are good candidate developing mental retardation and often Alzheimer's disease. In addition, another example, using stem cells for rejuvenation. Scientists and doctors, as well as society, should take into account the stem cells injection into the adult body very often induce non-controllable tumor growth and metastasis. And I am sure you very often, to heard that is, let's say to some artist or, to famous person, they use this type of, to treatment, they get uncontrollable cancer and passed away. So this is key important issue where society should take into account.
I wish to present you a new series of photos, and you may compare those taken 2 years ago and now. You may compare 8 years of time passing, and all I did was the result of this biological transformation without the help of the pharmaceutical pills.
Yeah, exactly. What I agree with you, not only completely, but I just want to mention you again, is that, this is key important problem for, because it's just everybody again trying to use, majestic way to get, the kind of, effectiveness is not going to work out. Just look on your own, photo, you just shared with me. This is exactly indicate that, actually human body don't want any kind of external unnecessary, let's say, to manipulation. Like, nobody want to get advice from friends. Everybody thinks he's doing right things right way. And therefore, it's, artificial, manipulation of human homeostasis appear to be, actually, we are creating problem by ourselves in a short way.
Can you see them in full screen?
Yes. Okay, 1 second. Yes, I saw all of the picture I want. So it's, reduce wrinkles. Okay. Yeah, exactly. I agree completely with you regarding is that, it's human body never want to somebody get manipulation on this issue. This is, key important issue. But we are trying to, again, with all about money, all about to having money to doing actually nothing, just imagination that I did this, and if you are going to take this medication, you are going to be younger, you are going to... Let's go back to my many years ago, 2009 interview, 2008 interview with Los Angeles Times. I never said, I'm not never telling to anybody, go to drugstore and get mitochondrial antioxidant and take, daily base. I never say this. I say one problem comes. One of you, did something wrong. Let's say some, work style or lifestyle. One of these, this imbalance happen, we can fix. But we need to fix each case differently than that, you cannot use. You have some common sense, but this does not mean you have everything, say, to in one case work, let's say to take, to Botox injection or take aspirin or any other drug, Lipitor or what else, or acetyl-L-carnitine. So we need to be very specific for, each case, and therefore it actually is not so difficult. But, it is main problem is that trying to get something magic which does not exist.
When I told you about this event in my life and curing this metabolic disk problem, you said that my theory could be a threat to the system. Why my theory could be a threat to the medical system?
Medical system, they don't want, they want to just sell. What they need? They just need to have patients, buyers, to go and to buy every single day what they sell. That's their goal. Their goal not to treat you. But I don't think it's after our conversation tomorrow, drug company representative going to make phone call or want to meet me or people like me to make, to some kind of judgment. Problem is that they, spending billion or $1 trillion amount of money for nothing, like, Alzheimer clinical trials is phase 1 work, phase 2 work, phase 3 fail. How this can be happening? But, it is too much. I don't want to go in other aspect, but I think, it's time to make change, time to make, difference, is that we are, to not only, because it's sooner or later we are going to get older, dementia can be happen with us. So we are going to, with people who is, to drug develop or in main academic, with people are going to, to affect by themselves in same situation, like, many patients we are faced today.
But maybe you and me discovered other ways in order to keep this body healthy. And they are not taking this into consideration enough.
I agree with you. The problem is that they're going to take into consideration, believe me. Going back to history, one, in first time developed some, instrument to make, to make some machine all of other worker try to destroy, I read from history, where in England, they try to destroy all of new instrument to keep their job. But, this is happen. So you can't keep, to, progress by a limitation using kind of techniques that what we are doing now. The problem is that sooner or later, it's like, the Alzheimer disease field. Still in wrong direction, wrong way, trying to get magic drug, as repeatedly mentioned today during our conversation. But what's outcome? Zero. Already spent $1 trillion, like, to drug, to just failed recently, is everyday fail. Why? Because it's very, too difficult to, to find something challenging which does not exist.
Let's go back now to your paper, and I quote this. But biochemical processes that lead to cell life requires energy constantly. and the unexpected capacity of melanin to absorb light energy and transform it into chemical energy involve a substantial change in our conceptualization of cell biology. But how is possible that melanin inside the cells of the profound tissues deep under skin used the light because the body reflected?
Issues that, absorbing light appear to be as an accelerating, or in another word, as a factor that induce, to stimulation. We cannot receive melanin, as I mentioned, from external source because its molecular weight is high and time dissociation of it, so it does not fit. Therefore, it's time to dissociation of water under the action of melanin does not require light. And as I mentioned, if you hear negative feedback mechanisms appear to be, to drive on a horse. Once cells, tissue, or organ need energy, water dissociation occurs as much needed under the feedback mechanism. So therefore, the external light, in case of, to retina or skin, which is, very easy example, we showed that this is how is process is reversible and under control of melanin as a catalytic activity that's induced, actually keep cellular homeostasis in physiological active level.
Please tell us about mitochondrial factors in pathogenesis of various diseases.
As you know, we published large number of papers in field as well as in clinical observation. In our judgment, mitochondria appear to be a primary target for aging, age-associated change, that outcome and manifest as a disease, especially highly differentiated endometabolically active organ and tissue like neuron, cardiomyocyte, hepatocytes, renal epithelium has more mitochondria than that other organ. In addition, mitochondrial organ where it has own DNA, an autonomic system with double membrane, so each other is protected. In general speaking, any dependent antioxidant and pro-oxidant starts on mitochondria. And finally, any medication that we are taking or referring patients, sooner or later going to have an effect on the mitochondrial homeostasis. And therefore, its outcome appear to be normalizing normal physiological function. In another word, disease appear to be mitochondriopathy, especially melanin-dependent energy deficiency inside of this organelle that has own autonomic DNA material.
This was the most amazing and fascinating interview, and I thank you very much for your time and kindness to answer dozens of questions.
Yeah, this will be an amazing and fascinating interview, and I'm very thankful and thank you very, very much for your time and kindness. His answer, I'll be more than happy to take more questions, maybe during the next time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Aceasta a fost partea a doua a interviului înregistrat la începutul lunii februarie 2018, un interviu care este rezultatul unei aventuri de aproape 2 ani și care merită să-l revizionați în etape. L-am invitat pe profesorul Aliev la Cluj-Napoca, dar încă nu știe precis când anume ar putea conecta vizita la Cluj cu un posibil turneu european, însă este de acord și chiar foarte interesat să ne întâlnim. Până atunci, mi-a promis că vom mai înregistra încă un interviu cât de curând, dedicat în întregime maladiei Alzheimer și a metodelor de vindecare pe care domnia sa susține că le va aplica în primele teste clinice pe pacienți. Aceeași promisiune o am și din partea profesorului Michael Fossel, referitoare la înregistrarea unui nou interviu cât de curând pe aceeași temă. Acest lucru este extraordinar, deoarece ideile care vor fi prezentate în aceste două interviuri ar putea să se completeze reciproc și să genereze o nouă imagine asupra înțelegerii acestei boli devastatoare. V-am promis data trecută că voi dezvălui motivele pentru care profesorul Aliev a acceptat interviul pe care i l-am propus și de ce, la modul general, domnia sa nu se aventurează în discuții cu jurnaliștii din apropierea regiunii unde se desfășoară activitatea. Am păstrat 5 minute dintr-o înregistrare Skype pe care am făcut-o în anul 2015, după care conexiunea Skype a început să funcționeze tot mai rău și a trebuit să renunțăm. Iată ce mi-a spus profesorul Aliev la acea vreme.
Add you one things, maybe think about, maybe if you want, you can add on our interview. So, question is that 90 or 95% of medication, what we prescribe today, is wrong or harmful, or nothing or harmful. 95%. But you can say, why we sell? Why? It's money. Just one example, in the United States of America, 2013, profit selling from insulin and CFR, diabetes type 1, type 2 medication. Do you know how much profit they made? $73 billion 1 year only in the United States. So, I was on meeting, now even they don't take any in vivo or in vitro test. They now make a mathematical modeling that shown this will be non-toxic. Can you imagine? So if we get worse and worse and worse and worse in this situation. So the future medicine, I don't believe any medicine was very, to sell in pharmacy. But its question is that is too much politics, too much, too money, and money power. And people like me or you, we are dangerous for them. Because, we show that. So you understand, this is access. Hormonal level, organ. In your case, you get back pain. Other case, people get other problems. But starting giving painkiller doesn't make any help. I'm not against using painkiller like in acute situation. Let's say after trauma, car accident, your pain, you have to block. I understand. You can get shocked. But in case of metabolic, so your situation, same as to many, was metabolic issue. The problem is, again, nobody wants to cure you. They want you as a client forever. You're going to buy medicine, and they're going to make $1 billion. I just mentioned you. You are enemy for them. Understand? So this is a different topic. Again, what I found, if theory, what they teach us in medical school, as well as in high school, as a medical school, about how energy, how pathogenesis of disease is completely unacceptable and wrong. Mitochondria primary, let's say, to target. But mitochondria himself cannot control. Mitochondria as a place, let's say, house. Whereas main issue, let's say, if mitochondrial membrane gets damaged, you raised too much question and too much good question. No, I'm serious. Very highest competition of the question. This is scientific question. This is not personal journalist, like asking general, what's with mitochondria? You are targeting question, which are at some point even tough to make explanation.
Yes.
I'll try.
Okay.
Yes, very good, and why I agree to you, because when I saw you are, let's say, to level, I say, I have to get with this guy because this guy also, like me, against, to everybody. Give me, so end of this week you will have everything. Because you're asking too much question, and all that is, I never see such a question from scientists, believe me.
Oh,
So
I'm only a journalist. I'm a journalist.
I know, you are into to mainstream. You're asking question is not any academician able to ask. I'm serious. So it looks like you know topic better than anybody else. I'm serious. I can show you, I was in meeting in, with the medicinal chemistry. Was me asking all kind of stupid questions. I'm serious.
Așadar, dincolo de aprecierile pe care profesorul Aliev le aduce activității mele de jurnalist, ceea ce rezultă din aceste 5 minute este faptul că există interese farmaceutice conduse sub motoul banul cu orice preț, iar prețul îl plătiți dumneavoastră, cei care nu vă puteți menține o stare de sănătate pe termen lung. Dacă ar fi așa, atunci toate aceste corporații ar falimenta. Există cercetări care se fac în vederea vindecării cancerului și a maladiei Alzheimer, dar foarte puțini pot afla de existența lor. Pe de altă parte, există o serie interminabilă de pseudocercetări, larg mediatizate, dar care nu oferă niciun rezultat, excepție vânzarea de medicamente sau de pseudoaparate, bioze rezonante sau alte bazaconii fără niciun efect clinic demonstrat. Toate acestea vin atât de la știința sponsorizată de corporațiile farmaceutice, dar și de la mult pomenita medicină alternativă, complementară, tradițională sau cum s-ar mai numi ea. Cum puteți discerne între adevăr și mit? Cum puteți ajunge la adevăratele informații care să vă conducă pașii în vederea soluționării problemelor de sănătate? Puteți face aceasta prin două metode. Una este aceea de a vă adresa specialiștilor, iar a doua este de a vă reanaliza stilul de viață. Emisiunea Știință și Cunoaștere nu prezintă adevăruri absolute și nici nu poate oferi sfaturi medicale, dar ea deschide noi orizonturi care să vă ajute în abordarea unor decizii personale. Studiați știința și căutați cu sinceritate adevărul. Și vă invit data viitoare la o nouă întâlnire cu Știință și Cunoaștere.